We're so back, baby. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into another live stream. Bitcoin has been absolutely skyrocketing over the last couple of days. I'm sure every single one of you guys have already seen it. It is nothing new. It is still tracking global liquidity pretty spot on as of right now. I'm seeing a little bit of debate online whether or not this is a fake out or a bull trap, and in fact the top is already in. I think we are at a decision point. Of course, we're generally speaking at a decision point for Bitcoin. Are we going to go up? Are we going to go down? I don't know. We'll talk about it on live stream. We're also going to go through a bunch of the DeSci news for the day, as DeSci started absolutely ripping yesterday off of the lows, which was pretty exciting. Now, still can't get too excited because we're still 80% off from most of the highs in a lot of the coins, but it is a step in the right direction. Good morning, C90. What's good, Zach? How's it going, Beagle? What's good, Steven? Welcome in to the gifted members, Steven. WC90. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for inviting Steven into the inner circle, the winner's circle. Welcome. Yeah, this is Bitcoin on the weekly chart. So I wanted to point out something to you guys, which again, I'm sure most of you guys are aware of, but that pump over the last 2 or 3 days, the pump in Bitcoin this week, which we are holding very nicely, put us above all of the moving averages on the weekly time frame. If we also go in on the daily time frame, you'll see that it put us above all of the moving averages on the daily time frame. So that pump over the last 2 or 3 days has put Bitcoin back above everything that we needed to see to know that we were in fact back into a small uptrend. Now, can this turn into a large scale uptrend? I believe that's exactly what's happening. I think we are tracking global liquidity right now, and I believe we're having a I don't really know what to call it, but an aggressive rally to kind of finish out this bull run, in my opinion. We'll see what actually ends up playing through, but a lot of people in the news cycle the last couple of days have been saying that Bitcoin is decoupling from the tech market because we saw that the stock market was selling off while Bitcoin was rallying. Now the stock market's rebounding a little bit and Bitcoin is selling off marginally, but really it's just holding sturdy at this $93,000 area. I don't know how long it's going to stay decoupled for, but I don't believe it will stay decoupled. I think that the stock market has some catching up to do. That's what I think is going to happen. And I think that we do get some crazy rallies from here up into new all-time highs, but we have to wait and see. What's good, Dr. Crypto? Welcome. Welcome, welcome. What's good, Stare? WWWW. Let's go. Yeah, we'll see. Bitcoin, I know I always say we'll see, but ultimately I'm not trying to predict too much. It's fun to make the predictions, but really we just watch what happens and try and react accordingly to the news and the information that we get. This area that it's in right now, Bitcoin that is a big area of contention. Like you can see through this whole period, if I were to draw a box, how many times Bitcoin has entered into that period and done a reversal. It is many times. You see it once here, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, almost 13 times it has entered this area and reversed. So it is an area that we need to pay close attention to. Not that little box that I just drew, but the box before it. It is an area that we should pay close attention to. And if we can hold here through this week, and I think personally get this week and next week of holding above all these moving averages, coming down, testing the trend line, testing either the 200-day moving average or the 100-day moving average. If we can get that back test over the next week and a half, I think that we will be set up to start going much higher, much quicker. This move up, if we are to track global liquidity, is going to be very fast. So everyone hold on tight, because I think we're going to hit this circle and then hit this circle and then be done. As far as decentralized science, we saw all of DeSci start picking up quite substantially, including our favorite coin in the entire market, Agent Bill. Agent Bill currently sitting at an FDV of $250,000. We have a long ways to go back up, but the chart doesn't look bad anymore. You have to acknowledge that now same with basically every DeSci project out there, we have broken out from this downtrend that we were in. A lot of the projects in DeSci look very similar, including Research Coin, having now finally broken out above the downtrend that we were in. Held a very firm support down here at 20 cents and is starting to put in a higher high. So that is very exciting. That is very exciting. I know, who sold? WTF, dude. It's funny because I've been watching Bill, like these people as they come in and sell, and if you click on the funnel to actually look at them, this guy lost money on it. So bought the dip, 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 sold the dip, sold his whole position in the first sign of a little bit of a bounce in the market. That's the current state of people in crypto, which is why I think that we are going to get a retest here on the larger coins, because I think people are really afraid of what's going out in the market. I think that we'll get a retest, but as long as we can hold some of these levels and not have it completely sell off, then I think everything is good to go. We'll get some of the early sellers out as soon as possible. Sorry, let me take a sip of water. I'm gonna mute myself so that I can cough. Yeah, we need to get everyone who's going to paper hand at the first sign of a bounce out of the market, right? Because they're going to sell, and I think that the buying power is going to overcome the selling power in this rally, but we need to actually see it happen before we can know that it happened. That's profound, isn't it? That's quite profound. ETH Bitcoin to 0.05. Let's go. ETH BTC. Let's go. Get it up. Get it up. Damn, 0.05 would be crazy. 0.05 would be crazy. It'd be 160% gains for ETH compared to Bitcoin. I think it's more than possible. I think it is likely what will happen. I think that we will get that aggressively quick V-shaped recovery. If Ethereum is something to be invested into, I think that it needs to have an aggressive V-shaped rally. If it does not, and it just kind of builds this into a floor and then slowly starts coming up, I think it is not the end, but I think it's the end of an era, right? If it can quickly bounce and get above all the moving averages over the next like 3 months, I think then it's looking really good. But if it slowly builds out, then I think it was the end of an era. And it was fun while it lasted, but the L2s on top of Ethereum stole much more of the value than I think people initially expected. If we go back in here, back into looking at some of the DeSci plays, we saw research. Let's look at SCI. So SCI still has yet to have its breakout. However, it has had a, I think, break-in trend because people just stopped selling. So it got back down to the initial price at which it launched at, down here at 40 cents, and then is just holding that as support as people don't want to sell anymore. So that is still good. However, it's not breaking out due to buying pressure, more so just due to no more selling, which again is a good thing for SCI. You go look at Axon. Axon was going crazy yesterday. I saw lots of people posting about it. But to put everything in perspective, the crazy pumps that these projects are having are off of very low lows, right? And so hopefully we can see this thing continue the uptrend that it was on, but people are already starting to be fearful and getting out. So we got kind of like a fear rally, if that makes any sense. And that rally on the backside of Trump coming out and being like, hey, we're going to make some good deals. We're going to actually back off. I think Trump low-key was showing that he was losing in that negotiation war with China, and that China was being way more hard-headed than he initially expected. Although I also saw some stuff about how China was starting to back off a little bit and saying that they didn't want all of this and that China's economy was actually suffering dramatically. I saw a lot of videos of what was happening because the shipping containers were going to the ports in the United States and being sent away because we didn't want to pay the tariffs to get any of it. And so the shipping containers were going back to China where they were just sitting with all that product on the shelves. And a lot of the people in China that were meant to pack these shipping containers were getting sold off, or not sold off, wow. pause. They were getting fired because they just didn't have the work, and China's not one to wait around. Whereas in the United States, we might give them a month or two of just unemployment or limited payment, but in China, they just immediately were like, we don't have work, goodbye, you're done. And so it was tough. It was tough, but both parties don't want this to actually happen, so they're both incentivized to make it not happen. And then as far as the rest of the countries, they came in and they were like, all right, we will negotiate, we will work with you guys and invest in the United States. So I think that the tariffs, the worst of the tariffs are over unless Trump decides to do something crazy. But again, Trump's legacy is good market conditions. And let's just be real, that was not a good market condition. We are not in a good market condition. We're in a good potential buying position if you want to hold for a period of time, but we've been saying that for a long time now. Valuations came down dramatically, and a lot of companies, aside from Tesla not in this category, because Tesla just projected that they were not going to grow at all for the next year, which is crazy for something in the Mag 7. But regardless, all the other companies seem to be doing just fine. It's just their valuations came down, which is potentially a good buying opportunity. Like Amazon, I don't think has had a valuation this cheap ever. Amazon, AMXN, AMZN. Amazon, from what I saw in its PE and its PEG, has never been this cheap in the entire history of Amazon. You could have gotten it for the same price basically back in 2020, which is pretty nuts for the global giant that it is. And of course, the crypto markets, basically people just getting out as quick as they possibly can. Just exit early, trader. Yeah, basically. Yeah, Solus. It's actually, so if you guys noticed, I don't say it, right? I try my best not to say that because most of you guys probably have no idea what it means, but it is short for this, which is a derogatory word for Indians. So I try not to say it, but it's funny because all of crypto just kind of adopted it. Lucas was kind of the first person that I heard talking about it. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. It's funny. It's funny and it's not funny. Yeah. It was like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. We were all hanging out back at his crib before he got out of the apartment. And it just like, it entered into the vocab circle and then it just took off from there. It just absolutely took off. So it's been used quite frequently. But yes, when you see that word, it just refers to someone who's selling early. But also don't probably say it in public. You know, probably just be a little bit cautious when you're using it in public. Yeah, things look really good. This is what we were saying back here last week, right? When we saw that Bitcoin was breaking above this yellow, let's get rid of the moving averages for a second. When we saw that Bitcoin was breaking above this yellow resistance and kind of holding here, we didn't have total confirmation yet, but it was showing signs of life, right? And then we absolutely skyrocketed to the upside, which is really good. And then we even are seeing a lot of coins start to follow suit. The thing is, dominance is at all-time highs for this cycle. Even though it's down a little bit today, dominance is at all-time highs for this cycle. So really, our altcoin bags are not going to rally like we're expecting them to until we see dominance break this multi-year uptrend. And I don't know that dominance will break this multi-year uptrend. It might not. It really might not. Dominance might just continue to truck higher and higher this cycle because it is a Bitcoin-led cycle and because we've been in a tightened environment in the economy the entire time. If we get a break in that, we might see a crazy rally in altcoins, but I imagine that would correlate pretty closely with a recession. I think that the Fed will only pivot aggressively if we're about to enter or are in a recession. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I told you guys last time we went live what my game plan was, and hopefully you guys remember it. I did not read the documentation yet, Solus. No, I've not. Total crypto market on the monthly looking beautiful. Let's go look at total crypto market. Look at that wonderful circle. I think we drew it while it was in the circle though, so we can't really count it too much, but let's go to the monthly. Most monthly charts are not looking that bad. Yeah, look at this. Bounced right off the trend line. So I think we hit this circle, and then I hope we hit this circle. And if we can manage to pull that off, which it looks really good, that chart looks gorgeous. If we can manage to pull that off, then we get the good times in the market bar pattern. It's reminding, this period that we're going through right now is reminding me of this period right here. So I'm going to take this section as the next move. And so I think it looks something like this. I think it looks something like that. And so I'm hoping we can get a good blow off top and get all the way up to that 8 to 10 trillion in total market cap, but we will see. Either way, things are looking gorgeous. Look at that. Nice. As far as decentralized science, first up, I don't know if you guys remember, but Genome's DAO actually is working as one of the subnets, or working to become a subnet for BitTensor. And so Genome and Tau, listen in as we provide you with exciting updates on our subnet for human genomics, developing a productive algorithm for the drug response based on synthetic genomic data, turbocharging science and medicine. So really cool to see that. BitTensor actually has already got a subnet 25, which does protein folding, simulated protein folding. And so also getting Genome as a subnet for BitTensor would be extremely good for Genome. Extremely good for Genome. Let me say it a third time because you need to say things 3 times for it to stick in people's heads. Genome's DAO becoming a subnet for BitTensor would be extremely good for Genome. As far as publicity, as far as functionality, as far as gaining that attention, it would be really, really solid. Next up, we have Mudo. So they are teaming up with King's College in London and Stavanger University Hospital to take on one of the biggest health challenges of our time: mental health and depression. Hell yeah. This isn't a new partnership. It's the next phase of a long-term alliance that includes the EU-funded Horizon Predictum project on Alzheimer's and dementia. Now we're going harder with clinical trials, data, and deep epigenetic insights. Big names, big science, big outcomes. So W for Mudo. I'm going to go ahead and hit that like button, just like you guys should. Like the live stream. We go live Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard. I need a haircut, and then we will start looking better. Take your time. Looks like we need more time to start building anyways. Always need more time. Time happens to be your most valuable asset. And so it is super important that it's used wisely. Okay, we also got an update from Dynex. Bullish. Dynex dev update. As part of our ongoing commitment to transparency and community alignment, we're sharing several important updates regarding the Dynex ecosystem. These cover the web wallet relaunch, the outcome of the privacy voting, and recent decisions around market making and sex-related activities. I don't really want them to get on more sexes, to be honest, because the sexes always seem to just dump on the tokens whenever they get listed, but the market speaks and they do what the market wants. So number 1, we have the web wallet. Reconfirming the official launch on April 24th, which is tomorrow, the new wallet introduces major improvements in performance, security, and usability. We can't wait to share it with you. They got privacy voting. The community has spoken. The decision to remove privacy features was unanimous, and we will fully honor this vote. However, we detected that the voting on the 2 proposed solutions for implementing the change was tampered with. As a result, we are now holding a series of internal workshops to evaluate the best path forward. We will publish a clear action and implementation plan at the beginning of May. And so essentially, when they did the voting, they got attacked by a series of bots, which basically voted to put Dynex as an L2 on top of Ethereum instead of its own chain. And when they removed a lot of these bot votes, they found that the majority of people that were really voting wanted to keep it as its own chain with still having a wrapped version on Ethereum. And I think they've hinted at doing one on Base as well, a wrapped version of Dynex on Base, which I think would be a gorgeous thing to happen. But most people just want that transparency. They don't actually care about keeping it as an L2 or an L1, which I think is really good. So I honestly, me personally, would like to see it stay as an L1, just with that layer of transparency added. And so what they're promising is that they will add that transparency so that basically everyone can do on-chain analysis and see who holds what and who's dumping and who's holding and blah, 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 blah. All the same stuff that you would do with any other open blockchain. So I'm super excited for that. It's probably going to take some time because they have to rework stuff and kind of change the whole thing in order to make it public. But it will come and it will be gorgeous. Part of the reason why I want it to stay in L1 is so that they can theoretically in the future implement layer 2s on top of Dynex, which would act as tokenized assets or tokenized things on top of Dynex. So for example, when Bill is using Dynex as its model for the QLLM, right? When Bill segues over to using Dynex as a quantum AI, we could theoretically, it's not set up like this right now, but staying as an L1 would mean that we could launch our token on top of Dynex if we wanted to, right? We could bridge it over there and keep it going and actually use that token for things on Dynex's QLLM. Now, that's not in the roadmap. That's not something that's on the horizons, but that is something that would be possible if they stay in L1. And so that would be really cool because then you could also build out entire applications on top of Dynex and somebody could make a quantum computing company on Dynex and still use the network, but actually be built there as well. So that's that. And then as far as the SEX and market making, following an internal review meeting, we have decided to initiate an audit of market making activities. This process has already begun. Effective immediately, all transfers to the market makers are suspended during the audit period. We have not yet decided whether to suspend buybacks as well, but will continue to assess and inform the community accordingly. Expect further updates as the audit progress. Transparency remains a top priority. I don't want to see the buybacks stop, but I do think that like I said in the very beginning of that, the market makers are pretty corrupt. We all know that. We all see it. They try and charge literally to get listed on a centralized exchange, you need to have X amount of volume, right? Let's just say you need to have $100,000 of volume every day, okay, to get listed on a centralized exchange. And then that centralized exchange is going to charge you $500,000 to get listed. I'm not making that up. Those are real numbers I've seen. I've seen also millions of dollars be charged to get listed on these centralized exchanges, but I'm just going to use 500,000 as an example. You as a project don't have $500,000 cash sitting there to get on the centralized exchange. So they're like, okay, we'll do it for 20% of the supply of your project, or we'll do it for 10% of the supply, whatever that number is. It's egregious. And you have to use our market making service. And so you have to give 20% to us and you need to give 10% to the market maker so that they can phony up that volume and just wash trade a bunch to get that volume high. It's ridiculous. It is a scam. It is such a scam because what they end up doing is just dumping and dumping and dumping. You can actually see it verbatim what happened to Lake. If you go look at Data Lake, they actually got delisted off of an exchange because that exchange was just pairing this entire time, the exchange was just pairing every buy order with selling volume. So if somebody bought $5,000 worth of data lake, the exchange was selling $5,000 worth of data lake so that they could just profit that money and just walk away from it. And so all the tokens that were given to the market maker to get listed on those exchanges were just dumped, which is nuts. That is so corrupt. I've heard 750,000 on MEXC specifically. MEXC is so bad with it. Absolutely. Haircut in the bull market, sir. Yes, we're back in the bull market. My doctor told me more sex is great for my health, though. For real. Okay, all right. One thing on data lake that I want to point out here is that we're seeing, in my opinion, not even my opinion, what we're seeing right here is a bullish divergence in the price of data lake. So the RSI has started putting in a series of higher highs, and the token price had not yet started putting those higher highs in, but it is, I think, going to start pushing pretty aggressively here, especially now that the RSI is starting to get into the upper region of 50, right? It's starting to go into the overbought territory. So that, I think, is going to correlate with a pretty quick move upwards. I don't know how high it will go. I would love to see it push back up above 0.004. 0.005-ish. That would be really nice to get a complete and utter break and that quick pump like last time, but we have to wait and see. Obviously, that's what always ends up happening, is let's just wait and see what happens. But I do think that in this next rally, we'll see data lake push back to the upper range here. And I think if we can get that sustained rally, I think that we will start pushing higher, closer to that 40 cents area, where I think it will likely end up. Boom. But who knows, right? So far I've been wrong in most of my price predictions. So, oh man. It's still a solid asset to hold, and I've been holding mine the entire time. I have not sold anything aside from in this push, this first one. I didn't sell a penny in that, and I bought pretty aggressively down here at the bottoms. I did not sell anything in that one. I only sold in this first one. If we keep going and looking at some more stuff, we got the creator bid, which I know almost all of you guys are hanging on to. They are getting that strength. It is interesting because they still have not broken out of this downtrend. You go look at that, they still have not broken out. However, they have not continued the bleeding. So I think creator bid at a 12 million market cap is very undervalued. And I think if we can get that next leg up and AI agents become useful again, people get excited again, then we'll see creator bid pushing upwards of like 300 or 400 million, probably even higher, depending on what's going to happen, right? We'll see. Whoa, let's not call it a scam. It's exactly what Ripple does with XRP. And as a whole coin XRPer, it can't be a scam. You're a whole coiner for XRP? That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. Good shit. And they want a relatively large amount of supply. They have been dumping on projects forever, while also on exchange, it makes it easy to offload. Exactly. And they force that market making activity so that there can be volume for them to sell into. It is a giant scam. DEX W, SEX L. Exactly. L SEX. W DEX. Genome pumping a bit. Oh, let's go to the log scale so that it looks a little better. Genome pumping a bit, which is good. I didn't ever expect to see it down at these prices again, but I can say that for basically every project. And then we're seeing Biard start to move, so that's cool. I hold a good chunk of Biard, a $250,000 market cap. Another thing, I'm getting a little sidetracked from all the news that I wanted to talk about today, but another thing is that we're seeing Berbeline and Punakalagan. We're seeing some of the Pump Science tokens on April 29th. They will launch. This one's launching on April 29th. And so the market's starting to come back to life, right? We got Solana with a very nice monthly candle here, right off this range low, right off the area of contention. It's bouncing pretty strongly. So it's already up like 60% from the lows, which is really exciting to see. And so with that newfound excitement for Solana again, we are going to be seeing Pump Science start launching tokens again, which is really cool. That is what we've been waiting for. Again, a lot of these tokens are going to be quick pumps, and then we will see what comes from them after the fact. But people are going to be chasing the next Riff and Euro for a long time. And all of those degen people that came with Riff and Euro into DeSci for a minute, that caused that giant spike in all of DeSci, all of those people are going to start coming back in. Maybe not all of them. A good chunk of those people will start coming back in when we see Riff and Euro start moving again and the pump science tokens start to move. And so I'm keeping an eye on this, and on April 29th, which is next Tuesday, I will be partaking for sure. And of course, any of the others that are coming, I think Troll is going to be moving soon too. I think they're starting to get excited. Yeah. Word on the streets, they're getting excited. And then Pump Science even said that they were going to be doing a token for the platform itself. That one I want in on. I want in on no matter what. And then we also have Nerd Bunny, which I showed you guys the other day. All right, let's keep going. Genomes, I opened this one up twice by accident. We have Curtopia, budget and timeline update. We've officially adjusted and announced the Q2 2025 budget and the timeline estimates. The budget is $500,000, pending on the community vote. Payment split 50 up front, 50 after completing 10 screenings. That is cool. We have another thing from Curtopia. The core team. We have Bioprotocol with Long COVID Labs having gotten their case studies launching. We're gearing up as the first Long COVID Labs supported case studies launch this week. The clinicians are collaborating and prescribing a combination of treatments. So they're starting to actually get that treatment out there in the market. Proof of concept. Proof of concept. Just over and over again. Eventually, people will catch on that it's working. Eventually, it will. You gotta hold conviction. You have to hold conviction. Because if you don't believe in something, what are you doing? Conviction is key, right? That's why I'm able to hold my conviction and continue to work on stuff like Bill, even if it goes down a bunch, because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I know what this is. I know what it's gonna be worth. And so my conviction does not waver, regardless as to what the market thinks, because I don't care what the market thinks. Normally I'd say my bags, but I hold 10 XRP just in case, 500 some trillion market cap such. I know if XRP goes to $10,000, everyone should probably just hold on to 10 XRP or something, 100 XRP. Because if it goes to $10,000 per coin and you have 100 of them, you're a millionaire. So you might as well just hold on to 100 XRP. Like, what if we're all wrong and it just does that? That would be the craziest thing. Really hope Hempy finds traction as well. I know. I love Hempy. I think it will. Ooh, look at. I think all of the IPTs have some trading volume, so they're all listed again. We got Biard, Vita RNA, Vita Fast, DMXE, Hempy, Ovaria. So really, really small, but really powerful. That's how you get those crazy returns, is when things are super small. Hempy, I am holding on to quite substantially. Yeah, Riff and Euro, that's what I wanted to pull up. Yeah, had a big spike. It's selling off a bit, but again, if you look at it, it looks like it found that floor down here, and now hopefully we can get that rally back pushing to all-time highs again. In this next leg, these types of moves happen. These types of moves right here happen all the time. So just be positioned and be ready. I don't like that people were upset with Benjels, as if he controls the whole market. People need to practice patience. Slow and steady wins the race. I agree, Solus. There was a fishy dev who did in fact do something wrong, and he was replaced, I think. Yeah. I mean, that's a testament to Pump Science, though. There was a fishy dev, so somehow he was able to fake get through all of the criteria and roadblocks that they have to stop that stuff from happening. But there was a dev who launched the token and walked away with like 150 grand or something. and the Pump Science team took over the project. They didn't have to do that. They have no promises, no guarantees, but to save face and save their reputation as an early project, an early based company trying to transform an industry, they came in to show that they're here for serious causes and real reasons and actually trying to do a good thing. And they came in and saved that project. Now, did they have to? No. But yeah, they did have to. They kind of had to. They had no choice. I forget which one it was. Was it art? Oh, I'm not going to be able to find it just searching art. Was it art that they came in and reclaimed? Well, it looks like it was. That definitely looks like it. So they got crazy good pump, and then he just sold and just went and walked away. $131,000 market cap is kind of crazy. LP rewards, $20,000. What is this? Interesting. But yeah, I would watch these Pump Science tokens. They're probably going to do really well. This, if you guys remember, this is what Riff and Euro looked like for a long time. Only, no, this is about what I think Riff was chilling at. Riff was a little bit lower. I think Riff got down to $10,000 in market cap, and then it skyrocketed up. And that's how you get 100,000x returns, is in stuff like this. Are you still bullish on Noble? Of course I am. Homie, I hold more Noble Blocks tokens than Delroy probably holds. No, I don't know. I just made that up. I hold an egregious amount. I've been working with them. I've been working with, let me put it in perspective. I have been working with Noble Blocks from before they launched. Now, as of recently, I've not been as involved because since the start of this year, I've had my head down working on Bill, right? But for that service, I was paid in Noble Blocks tokens, okay? That makes sense? That's how the exchange was negotiated, right? Instead of cash, because there was no cash, I was like, I'll just take some tokens, and if it works out, awesome. If it doesn't work out, whatever. I have not sold a single Noble Blocks token the entire time. In fact, I have accumulated more by the tune of like 50% compared to what I was given for helping. I currently have an egregious amount of Noble Blocks, and I will not sell this thing until we're seeing higher highs. Until, honestly, I don't want to touch a single token until we are above the all-time high. In my opinion, I'm not interested in touching any of this until we are above 15 cents. I will hold on to it until it goes to zero, because in my mind, it's already at zero. I will not sell Noble until we see some crazy big returns. I'm holding down 99.4% on these things. Why on earth would I sell it here? Why on earth would I touch that bag? So I will hold until we go back up 20,000%. And then I might sell. But who knows? At that point, I might as well just be in it for the meme of it. I'm very bullish on Noble. What they're doing and how much onboarding they've been having with scientists. I know I've been saying it for a long time. I know it probably just sounds like I'm just repeating blah, 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 blah. But it's the truth. It's the truth. I'm hanging on tight. Can confirm I watch Patrick's wallet closely. Hell yeah, C90. Hell yeah, boy. Yeah! Noble is bullish on Noble. A project believing in itself is a project worth believing in. Exactly. I think it was Gaussy. Okay. All right, good. If Art's doing good, I got them mixed up, and I apologize for the teams if I got them mixed up like that. Art and Gaussy. What's good? Let's go, Wild Africa. Dox it. I mean, that investor.eth. You want to dox my wallet? Thatinvestor.eth. I bought the domain, doxed myself with it. Go ahead, go watch it. That's not all my wallets though, motherfuckers. You think that's my only wallet? No! I have like 40 wallets, and I have the keys to at least 10 of them. Oh man. Oh man, no. Where's Oh man, no? I haven't seen him in a long time. Alright, is there any more news here? We got 2 more things. Bioprotocol, they reposted this from a couple days ago, and Stadium Science. Stadium Science continuing to push the app forward. Scientific betting markets and prediction markets, a good thing that the market has been asking for a long time. Keep a close eye on Stadium Science. I think it is a net positive, something Vitalik personally has requested for. Same with most large figures in science and academia. They want prediction markets for drug development and stuff like that, right? We go live Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talk about decentralized science and the broader crypto markets. We have 19 people watching, yet 8 likes only. Please hit that like button, thumbs up the live stream. And of course, let's talk about this. We have the discussion for BIOS governance forum explores the integration of Molecule DAO IP tokens into the protocol. Effectively, it is already in there. The BIO protocol and Molecule are sister companies. Bio Protocol launches and incubates Bio DAOs, like Athena DAO, like Valley DAO, like Cryo DAO, like Vita DAO, like Spine DAO. You guys have seen them all, like Curtopia. All of these DAOs are incubated through Bio Protocol. The sister company of Molecule has the framework and infrastructure for IP tokens, i.e. the tokenization of intellectual property. So when one of these Bio DAOs uses the treasury to fund research that is successful, it uses that mechanism that Molecule has to tokenize the ownership of that intellectual property. So it's already effectively in there, and that is what these are, these bio IPTs. That is what we have going on here. So this list will continue to grow. And I think I actually bookmarked the page so that I could keep an eye on all of them, because there are actually a ton of these bio tokens. All bookmarks. Oh, these are documents. Molecule Catalyst. Oh, I didn't bookmark it on this one. I bookmarked it on this one. I guess I'll do it on screen. So these are where they do the funding for these projects, the tokenized IPT. So expired, negotiating. These have already been tokenized. We have Perceptia, we have Ovaria, we have AB4AD, which I don't think is on this list. AB4AD. Let's see if they got the trading volume to be listed again. No, they do not. Okay. We got AB4AD. We got Carta Forge, which is a new one that just happened from Valley DAO. So let's go look up Carta Forge. Nope. And then we got Hempy. Bio is a $5 billion market cap easy. I agree. I think it's worth significantly more than that actually, but let's try and find all of them. Just brings us here. Learn about the IPTs brings us here. Don't look at me. Me. Wrong password. My I don't know where to find them. Oh. Aha. Okay. I got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got them. Here they are. All of them. Control C. Control V. We have Vita RNA sitting at a $1 million funding. We have AB4AD. We have Hempy. We have Cartoforge. We have VitaFast. We have FAC. We have Ovaria. We have Percepta. We have Abria coming soon. We have one that was expired. We have one in negotiations. We have another negotiations. Negotiations minted. This is minted, guys. This is out there. This is out there. VYPT. Longevity. We have another one minted back in 2024. Back a year, more than a year ago. These things are out there. There are a lot of them out there. And I think that these all, unlike most things in, look at Biard right there. Smallest funding. Super small funding. Back in 23. These are projects, these are assets that you can acquire ownership in that have the potential to turn into biotech. They are biotech startups. They are biotech startup companies that have the potential to get acquired or turn into multi-billion-dollar projects. And we're not talking about regular crypto things here. We're talking about actual companies, actual biotech companies. I don't know if you guys have seen Biotech World and IPOs for the biotech world, but these things will IPO at like $1 to $5 million market caps and just explode up to 200 million, 300 million in like a week, in a couple days, based off of good news. Buying these things are like the highest potential ROI lottery tickets in all of crypto, in my opinion. These have some of the highest outsized return potentials out there. Now, of course, anything can go down 90%, and even if it goes down 90%, it can go down another 90%. But that doesn't change the fact that if you get into stuff like this at a $250,000 market cap and it does well, it will go up 1,000x pretty easily, because then it will get acquired for that, and it will get acquired by someone like Pfizer or someone like GSK or somebody out there. It doesn't matter. But they have real solid potential, and they trade like, basically what I'm trying to say is that these trade like meme coins without the risk of it literally being nothing, right? Meme coins, there's no reason for them to trade at whatever price they want to trade at, but these have reasons to trade at those prices. And so if it goes well, you make disgusting money on them, in my opinion, of course. What's good, Winos? Welcome in. Solus redacted a message. I want to see what that message was. What the hell? Solus redacted all his messages. What's up with Lake.fun? You know, I haven't seen anything. They're trying to do what Bio's doing, and I haven't seen anything from them in a minute, which is an upsetting thing to say, but it's just the truth. Again, I hold a lot of Lake, and so I don't want that. I want them to keep pushing and keep working. I'm assuming that they just have their heads down and are working on stuff, but again, I haven't seen much. But you have to give them the benefit of the doubt, like I expect you guys to give me with Bill. What do you think about Curtopia? I like it. I have an interview with them that I posted on X. I don't think I posted it on YouTube, but with their founder. And Ethan has a lot of experience in the realm of drug repurposing, and I think Curtopia has a bright future ahead of it. I think that what they're going after is low-hanging fruit, kind of, that has the potential to do really, really well. Drug repurposing has a lot less barriers than coming out with new drugs, and you can do it because they have less barriers, you can actually like perform really nicely for cheap compared to the alternative. So I think it's got a really potentially high performing future. And they're doing really good for people with rare diseases, which I think they said 1 in 10 people have a rare disease, which is crazy. And they just don't get treated by traditional pharma because It's not as ROI intensive, right? It's a lot more work than just trying to get one drug to do really well. For example, it's much better for a pharmaceutical to come up with metformin and just become worth hundreds of billions of dollars effectively overnight, in a year, right? In 2 years, however long. It might take 10 years to get it, and they can just burn through cash for 10 years. And then all of a sudden they have this miracle drug that everyone wants to take. That is more attractive to those companies than spending 100 grand 3 months later, figuring out how to repurpose a drug to help these people, making some money, spending 100 grand, doing it again over and over and over again. But it's way easier and it's more suitable for something in DeSci. So I like Curtopia. Is HempNet hempy? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Bullish on Bill. LFG. Is there any news with Ben Jules about Bill? I DM'd him yesterday after you tagged me. I didn't check yet though. Let's go see if he responded. Yes, he did respond. GM. Oh, LOL. Okay. Yeah, he said it was he said it was some fake beef because I didn't mention them in the post here. But I didn't make the post. So I didn't make the post, so I can't even say it, but he was they had little fake beef with Bill. Oh, this posted really good. God damn. Let me bookmark that, come back and do something cool with it later. And then he said, how we living, bruh. So we'll see. We will see. I try and stay in contact with a lot of the devs from Pump Science, so I'm imagining that we'll do something. I just need to, what I need to do is finish. Hold on, stay there. I need to finish this behind me. There's a laundry list of to-dos and some visual maps that I've created for myself for Bill. I need to finish this, okay? That's all I can do right now. I'm closer than I ever have been to finishing it, but everything else, effectively everything else in my life has taken a backseat to finishing that, okay? So that's all I can do right now, as that I only have a limited amount of time every day. So even going live and trying my best to go live with you guys Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to talk about decentralized science and the broader crypto markets, that is my number one priority. So, and of course Amanda. All right, just in case she's listening. And of course, all right, but that goes without saying. That one goes without saying. Is the purpose of Bill to mention and publish DeSci projects? They all know you were here before them. The purpose of Bill is to spread awareness for decentralized science, yes. And also, there's some more key elements to Bill that I want him to be a part of, like helping the projects. I don't want him just giving them exposure. He's supposed to be the number one DeSci KOL. I want him to be better than me. I want him to take over and just be the number one greatest thing that could possibly be there, right? I want him to really just take over everything. But I also want him to be involved on the ground floor for all of these projects, whether that be networking, whether that be helping with building out the community, whether that be helping with research, I want him to be in there on the ground floor, helping all the projects succeed in every facet. And so that's what we're working on with him. So yeah, that's what I'm working on with him. Your time is your most valuable asset. Hopefully this was worth investing into. I appreciate you guys being here with me, and I will see you tomorrow. If you want a more up-to-date, in-tune update on Bill, come on Friday, because that is when we build together, and that is when I give you guys the tea as to what is going on for Bill. So a little bit of a sneak peek is Bill has scanned over 50,000 documents related to decentralized science, 50,000 pages of documentation for DeSci. So Bill is becoming everything I hoped he would be. And he's honestly surprising me every time I interact with him. I haven't pushed the one that I'm interacting with to the one that's in Telegram, so that one's still kind of more of an MVP, proof of concept. This one that I'm working on, that I'm finishing up here very, very shortly, has all of the value that I'm hoping to give him until I come up with better stuff to give him. Enjoy cooking for Bill. See you soon. Hell yeah. Any new thoughts about Bill token utility driving token value? Yes. Yes, I do. But we'll talk about it on Friday. All right, guys.